Hello, everyone. We are finishing up the partnership chapter this week. Um, and we really only have two little aspects I want to cover in regards to partnerships for the week. This is where I've decided to end the partnership chapter, given our circumstances. So, what we're going to talk about is what happens when you have two partners who've already been in existence in a partnership and they decide they want to let in a new partner. How does that affect their capital? How does that affect the partnership? Okay, so first we're going to look at a scenario, um, and I'm just going to advertise the scenario as the existing partners, so the old partners, are going to receive a bonus on top of their capital. So they're going to receive a capital increase in this scenario we're going to talk about. So let's just break it down. We'll see what that means. So Mo and Larry have equity of $24,000 and $30,000 respectively. So in their partnership, they have equity each of those amounts. So that's their capital. Equity is capital. So I already have T charts built showing Mo's capital balance of 24,000 and Larry's capital balance of 30,000. Okay. And now what we're going to say is some new schmo, Curly, decides he wants to join the partnership and is going to pay $36,000 for a one-third ownership. Okay. So Curly's paying 36,000. We're just going to assume cash for a one-third ownership in the partner. So what we say is, well, what is the value of a one-third ownership? Okay. And to find that out, what we do is we take the previous, the currently existing capital balances. So 24,000 for Mo plus 30,000 for Larry. And then, so we got the two existing partner capital balances. We add the new cash coming in. Okay. So we're adding what Curly is going to contribute, which is $36,000. So now what you're saying is, why do we have to do this? If Curly is contributing $36,000, wouldn't that just be his capital balance? The answer is no in most cases. And the reason is he's only getting a one-third ownership. Sometimes, and oftentimes, most times, when a new partner joins a partnership, they pay more or less than what the worth of their share of the partnership is. So let me put it like this. If I join a partnership with a friend and I do all the work, I'm a CPA, I keep the accounting books, I market for the business, I do all this work for the business. And my friend is just kind of a silent partner who doesn't do much. Logically speaking, it makes sense that I would probably have a bigger share of the partnership. Okay. So in this case, Curly's paying $36,000 for a third ownership. Maybe Curly, Mo, and Larry are going to split up the work evenly. Okay. So what they're saying is, yeah, you're giving us $36,000 in cash, but you're just going to get a one-third share of the partnership. Okay. We don't want you coming in and getting 40% of the partnership. We don't want that because they're the existing partners. They get to say how much of a share you get. Or let's look at it this way. Maybe Mo and Larry have a 50-50 share of a partnership. And now Curly comes in and Curly brings like this great technological patent with him. Some great idea that's going to really help the partnership. And to get this patent from Curly, Mo and Larry offer Curly an entire 50% of the partnership. So what would happen then is if Curly's going to get 50% of the partnership and Mo and Larry already each had 50%, they're going to lose a share of the partnership. But they're willing to do that because they see value in Curly. Okay? Maybe the flip side, Curly brings no value to the partnership except for a cash contribution. So they give him less of an ownership. Maybe they say you can only have a 10% ownership for your cash, okay, because you're not going to really benefit the partnership at all. And if Curly's okay with that and everyone else is okay with that, then that's how it goes. So that's why it is not based off of the cash contributed. It's based on whatever the partners say. So in this case, they're saying you can only have a 1/3 ownership, and ownership is based on total capital. So Mo's capital plus Larry's capital, okay, previous to Curly coming in, plus $36,000 in cash that Curly's contributing, this $36,000 is going to increase the total capital. So this 1/3 ownership is based on the total new outstanding capital. So when we take the 24,000 plus 30,000, again, the existing partner's capital, plus the new contribution of 36,000, we get $90,000. Curly is only going to receive 1/3 of that. So times it by 1/3, okay, $30,000. So this figure, let me bold it, highlight it. This is Curly's capital. Okay? So we haven't made a journal entry yet. I want to keep that in mind for you guys. We haven't made a journal entry yet. So Curly is going to receive $30,000 in capital from his $36,000 contribution. So this is a scenario where the partners, Mo and Larry, are letting a new guy into their partnership, and they're telling him, you have to pay more than the worth of your capital. You're going to get 1/3 of the partnership, but we want more than 1/3 worth of the money. Okay? So if Curly is paying $36,000, but is only going to receive $30,000 in capital, what is that going to leave left over? Okay, if we made the journal entry right now from the partnership perspective, we are debiting cash for $36,000, and we're currently crediting Curly capital for $30,000. And you guys should rightfully say, whoa, that doesn't balance. What else do we do? This difference, 36,000 minus 30,000, which equals 6,000. The difference is split and added to the old partner's capital. So you'll see down here, I already had a note. So when a new partner receives less capital than the total cash and assets they're contributing, old partners get a bonus. So in this case, Curly is receiving $30,000 even though he's contributing $36,000. So he's receiving less capital than the cash he's contributing. So in this case, the old partners split the difference and have it get added to their capital balances. Okay? So what does this mean? 6,000 is the difference between what Curly contributed and what he's getting, cut in half between Mo and Larry, 3,000 each. So we're going to credit Mo capital for 3,000, and we're going to credit Larry capital for 3,000. Okay? So if we go and we update these T-charts, Mo gets 3,000. So his new capital is 27,000. Larry gets 3,000. His new capital is 33,000. And then our new guy, Curly, he's going to get to 30,000. Okay. So now when we add all of these three together, they should be this 90,000 total new capital. So 27,000 for Mo, 33,000 for Larry, 30,000 for Curly. You can see down here, it equals 90,000. Okay. Could be a confusing concept. The best way to talk yourself through it is, think about it. You and a friend own a partnership. If someone wants to join, you get to set the rules regarding how they join. So you could tell someone, hey, our partnership is worth $2. But if you want to join, you have to pay us $50,000, and we're only going to give you a 5% interest. It's your partnership. You could do what you want. So that's why I'm stressing, even though Curly's paying $36,000, he's only getting a 1/3 ownership. And how do you find the value of that 1/3 ownership? You take both of the old partners' capital currently plus the contribution the partner's making, and you multiply it by that ownership. Right? I just had a thought I wanted to share. All right. So I say down here, when a new partner receives less capital than total cash and assets, keep in mind Curly can contribute a building. Curly can contribute the patent that we used as an example before. He could contribute equipment, land. So any assets Curly can contribute. That affects the total contribution. Okay? So now we're going to look at the flip side. What happens when the new partner contributes, when the new partner receives more capital than the cash and assets contributed? Okay. And as I say, as a sneak peek, it's going to be the opposite. Where in this case, Mo and Larry increase their capital. When the new partner gets more capital than they're giving, we have to take some capital away from Mo and Larry. So if we look here, Mo and Larry still have the same equity, $24,000 and $30,000 respectively. Curly now pays only $21,000 for a 1/3 ownership. Okay, so much less than he paid before. So first things first, we have to find out what is the value of 1/3 of the partnership. Okay, and we do that the same way. We take 24,000 plus 30,000, the existing partner's capital, plus what Curly is contributing to the partnership. Okay, and when we actually solve that, we're going to get 75,000. Okay, so the 24 plus the 30 plus the 21, 75,000. Curly is going to receive 1/3 of that. So Curly receives 1/3. So 75,000 times 1/3, and I don't know the actual decimal for 1/3 off the top of my head. So Curly's going to receive $25,000. Okay, he's receiving 1/3 of the total value of the partnership. So if we start the journal entry, we would debit cash for what Curly's contributing, $21,000. I'm going to leave some blanks. You'll see why. We're going to credit Curly capital for $25,000 because that's what we just calculated he's going to receive. And now, before we go on, you might say, hey, he's only contributing $21,000. Why is he getting more capital? Again, it could be a scenario like I said before. Maybe Curly brings a lot of value to the partnership, a lot of great ideas, a lot of expertise. So they're giving him more capital. And basically what it comes down to is Mo and Larry are taking away some of their own interest in the partnership and are giving it to Curly almost as an incentive to join their partnership. So as you see, we need more debits to make this journal entry balance. Curly's receiving $25,000, but he's only paying $21,000. So the difference between the $25,000 minus the $21,000, big surprise there, $4,000. When the new partner receives more capital than the cash or assets contributed, the old partners lose capital. So what's going to happen is this $4,000 difference is going to be split between Mo and Larry, and we're actually going to reduce their capital balances. So to reduce capital, we debit Mo capital and we debit Larry capital. And the split, 4,000 divided by 2, is 2,000. So now when we update all these T-charts, I'm going to make one for Curly. Curly capital was credited for $25,000. Okay. Larry just lost $2,000. So his new balance $30,000 credit minus $2,000 is $28,000. Mo just lost $2,000. So his old balance of $24,000 less $2,000, he now has a $22,000 balance. So now when we add up their balances, their new balances, we should get $75,000 as a total. So 22,000, 28,000, 25,000. Look at that, 75,000. Okay, so that's how we know we allocated the capital correctly. Okay, because if you accidentally credited Mo and Larry's capital and you added these all together, it would not be $75,000. So you got to keep that in mind. All right, some things just I'm going to talk through. It could come where the new partner gives the same amount of cash as 1/3 of the partnership is worth, in which case you just debit cash and credit that new partner's capital. Okay, that's not unheard of. Oh, I had another thought. I'm losing it today. Again, the new partner could give assets instead of cash. You would just debit those specific assets. You would still do everything else the same. Any new contributions increase what's considered the total capital, so they would just increase this number. All right, I think that's all I wanted to say. So just keep in mind, it could go either way. Okay, and don't fight with the logic too much. Let yourself think about it. Just because the partner is paying some dollar amount doesn't mean that's the same amount of capital they're going to get. Okay, the old partners can say you're only going to receive this much capital, or they're going to say, hey, we really like you. You could have more of an ownership in our partnership because that's going to lead to us getting more money. It could go either way. Okay, remember these two rules to help you. Okay, so you know when a new partner receives less capital than the total cash they're contributing, old partners get a bonus. Okay, remember capital is credited when it's increased. And then remember, if a new partner receives more capital than they're contributing, old partners lose capital. So you have to debit it. Okay, so I'm going to end this one here. I'll put up the practice assignments. As always, let me know if you have questions. Okay.